There are plenty of things you can do with Gato GraphQL. These are some of the highlights. Gato GraphQL provides a GraphQL server that allows you to use the popular GraphQL API in your WordPress site. Provide a GraphQL query and execute it against the server to retrieve exactly the data needed to power your WordPress themes, plugins, blogs, and applications. Several clients are included to interact with the GraphQL server. The interactive schema client allows you to visualize the GraphQL schema, to explore and understand how all data entities relate to each other. The graphical client allows you to visually compose GraphQL queries and execute them against the server and browse the schema's documentation. Persistent queries combine all the benefits from GraphQL and REST APIs. Use the GraphQL language to compose the query directly from the WP admin and publish it under its own endpoint URL, similar to a REST endpoint. Then access the endpoint URL in your application to retrieve the data. Since the response is predefined, visitors won't be able to freely query your data, making your application more secure. In addition to exposing the GraphQL single endpoint, Gato GraphQL allows you to create custom endpoints, which you can set as private, to be accessed within the WP admin only, and protect them with a password, to be accessed by a specific stakeholder, such as a customer. Gato GraphQL gives you the ability to compose fields, where the value of a field can be provided as input to another field in the same query, and compose directives, where a directive can modify the behavior of another directive. Composability means that a foundational set of field and directive resolvers are enough to cover an unlimited number of use cases, reducing the need to provide bespoke PHP code for custom functionality. Multiple query execution combines multiple GraphQL queries together and executes them as a single operation. Queries in the document can share state with each other and be conditionally executed depending on the value of some variable. This feature improves the performance of the application, as it avoids the latency from waiting for the response from executing multiple requests, and allows you to organize your GraphQL queries into logical units. Execute a GraphQL query to search and replace a string in all posts in your site, also using regular expressions to match string patterns. You will be able to replace the domain after a site migration, update links to pages after changing their slug, modify all image URLs after introducing a CDN, remove CSS styles hard-coded in HTML code, add missing links, and much more. Connect to the Google Translate API within the GraphQL query and translate content to over 130 languages with support for the Gutenberg editor, the classic editor, and page builders. The GraphQL query sends all strings to translate in a single request to Google Translate, making the translation as accurate as possible. Then keep editing the post within the WordPress editor. Retrieve data from and post data to any external service that offers an API using fields designed for generic APIs, REST APIs, and GraphQL APIs. Interact with popular services, including Notion, Airtable, GitHub, MailChimp, Zapier, OpenAI, ConvertKit, and many more. Synchronize and distribute content across multiple WordPress sites, whether within a multi-site or across independent sites, and also include non-WordPress sites that offer an API. Copy posts to a staging site and back to a production site. Distribute articles from a single source of truth of content. Have third-party workers review your content without giving them access to your backend, and more. Import posts from another WordPress site or from any non-WordPress site or service that offers an API. Several data formats are supported, including JSON, XML, and CSV, allowing you to also import posts from an RSS feed, from Excel, and from Google Sheets. Similarly, export posts into another WordPress site or into any non-WordPress site or service that offers an API, such as Notion or Airtable. Create posts in bulk based on a template and a data source. The template can include content of any type, including Gutenberg blocks, the classic editor, or any page builder. Provide a template for the content of the post containing variables for dynamic data and a source with data, such as a CSV input or a JSON dictionary. Then execute a GraphQL query to merge them and dynamically create the posts. Use GraphQL to automate tasks and content workflows in your site by executing a persistent query for the corresponding task, triggered via WP cron or WordPress action hooks. You can automatically generate an image for posts without thumbnail, add mandatory blocks to new posts, send a notification email when there is a new comment, translate a post to multiple languages and distribute them to translation sites, and more. Receive and process incoming data from any service via customized webhooks, published directly within the WP admin. Any event generated by an external service can be processed by your WordPress site via a suitable persistent query. React to events such as incoming messages from Slack, deployments on Netlify, merged pull requests on GitHub, purchased items on ConvertKit, and more. There is plenty more you can do with Gato GraphQL. Check it out and download it from gatographql.com.